Hello everyone and welcome to another game I played on PTCGO. Here I am playing my Blastoise Keldeo deck with Reshiram teched in for Plasma Clang, which it appears I'm facing as my opponent starts off with Cobalion and two Klinks on the bench. And I start off with Lone Mewtwo. I'm going to computer search here for Reshiram since I know what my opponent's playing, and Reshiram is the best card in that scenario. And then I'm going to N. And I really can't do anything else, so I just end my turn. But I've had a really hard time dealing with Klinklang Cobalion with Blastoise Keldeo, so I decided to drop Mana Fees and just focus on Reshiram and Fire Energies instead, and it seems to work better this way. So my opponent attaches to Cobalion, he's going to Catcher my Reshiram, and then Skyla for potentially Rare Candy, maybe or I don't know, Laser, I don't know. So he ends up getting a Juniper. So here I actually have another Reshiram, which is really good. So now I can get my full main attackers out. I only run two Reshirams. I decide to end and I get a Squirtle, which I could potentially use in case I need to attack with Blastoise as backup. And then I put down Keldeo. So here I just end my turn. I don't want to get Blastoise out yet because he could end me, even though I could with the Ultra Ball. But I pretty much think my opponent will have time to evolve his Klinks into Plasma Clangs, or I don't know, maybe Clangs. So he's going to Dowsing Machine for a Skyla. I wonder what he will retrieve. Of course, a Rare Candy. So this is going to be Rare Candy into Plasma Clang, which prevents all non-EX attackers from doing any damage to your metal Pokemon. So this means that my Mewtwo EX and Keldeo cannot do anything, and those are the main attackers of this deck. So here he decides to Catcher up my Keldeo and do 20 damage to it with Guard Press. Here I evolve into Wartortle, which I had in hand, but then I realized I should actually go for a Blastoise instead. So I'm going to Ultra Ball for Blastoise and just Rare Candy into Blastoise, which I think is a smarter play in the long run. And I get to Energy Retrieval those water energies I've had to discard, so I can attach them to my Reshiram and get ready to Outrage. I also run 4 Fire Energies in this deck in case I need to Blue Flare, and that's very specific to this matchup. Otherwise, I don't really Blue Flare in any other situation. So my opponent puts down Battle City after playing Juniper, and he plays Lugia to the bench. He's going to play, he plays Registeel to the bench, my mistake, and he's going to Heavy Ball for something. Probably another Klinklang, maybe it'll be the Shift Gears one, which will make this matchup even more fun and harder for me to win. So I don't know what my opponent has gone for quite yet. But I guess he doesn't put down what he goes for. I try Battle City, I don't get anything, but I do get a Keldeo, but I decide not to play it and just pass. So my opponent's turn, he's getting the Battle Cities, which allows him to draw an extra card, and he gets Rare Candy into another Plasma Klinklang. So now I really need to get some damage on the field, either take out the Plasma Klinklangs or just go for the knockouts on Cobalion and Registeel to try to win the game that way. But he's going to Skyla for a Catcher, and really the only threat to him right now is Reshiram, so the sooner he can knock that out, the better. But he needs to one-shot it or else I'll be able to outrage him. So instead he goes for Mewtwo and hits it. Go for Battle City, miss it again. So I'm going to Skyla. This time I think I should go for a supporter for next turn so I can have some former cards in my hand because I'm really stuck right now. So I decide to go Cold Rest because I don't want to help him. And I decide to retreat my Mewtwo. It's going to cost me those 2 water energies, but hey, it's okay. I can go into Reshiram and outrage for 40. So now if my opponent wants to attack me, he's going to make it really easy for me to steamroll his side of the field with outrage. So he has to be very careful about that. So instead, my opponent's going to end first, and I think he goes for Battle City and doesn't get it this time. But he can guard press, I think, unless he chooses. Yep. So I think he guard presses, or I don't know what attack that Cobalion is. Sorry, I forget which specific Cobalion he was playing for this attack, for this match. So we get a water energy. I'm going to attach it to the other Reshiram. Here, don't really know what I should do, but I decide to go for energy retrieval. And here, I need to start attaching to Blastoise because I will inevitably have to attack with him. I don't think the Reshirams will be enough to take out enough Pokemon on his side of the field. So I think I'm considering catching something. If I catch your Registeel, I think I can stall because it has a heavy retreat cost and he doesn't have any energy on it. So I do that, I catch your Registeel, and I'm going to level ball for another Squirtle. Although I put down Keldeo for whatever reason. I don't know. It's probably a dumb play. So I'm going to outrage for 160, I believe, leaving Registeel with, I think, 20 hit points. So if he doesn't retreat it, we'll get a knockout, but he manages to hit the switch and switch into Cobalion EX, which means he'll be able to knock me out. But first he's going to Cold Rest for 10. This is really bad for me because I still have no way of getting any knockouts, and I think he evolves his 3rd Klink into a Klang. So undoubtedly he probably plays a Shift Gears, and once that comes out, it's going to be an impossible win for me. So he knocks out Reshiram, and I promote the other Reshiram, attach a water energy to it, and I'm going to Super Rod Reshiram and 2 water energies back into my deck because I really need Reshiram to be available. So I get another water energy. I think I really should deluge it onto Blastoise, but first I'm going to just go ahead and take that knockout on Registeel because I really need to take the knockouts when I can get him. I'm going to Battle City, and I get to draw a card this time, so I decide to deluge those water energies and just hit Registeel for 40 and for the knockout. So now I have the prize lead, but he still has a distinct advantage over me. He just needs to really knock out Reshiram to really slow me down. So he's going to Super Rod Registeel back into his deck. And yeah, so he's playing the Energy Press Cobalion. He ends me down to 4 cards, and he gets 5. I get a Fire Energy, which is potentially useful if I can get enough onto Reshiram. He Battle Cities, doesn't get it, but benches a Full Art Cobalion EX. So he's going to hit me for 60, and this means I should be able to knock him out with Reshiram. But first, I think I'm debating whether or not to attach a Fire Energy to Reshiram just in case I can get another one on it. I decided to go for it anyway. I'm going to Juniper everything away. So I get more water energy, 1 more, so I can deluge that onto Blastoise, which I think would help me have an alternate attacker ready. And I decide to do that. And I guess I'm just going to outrage. I should be able to get the knockout here. Yeah, so I outrage for 160. Get to take another prize. But he can get the knockout right now with Cobalion. So we got a water energy from my prizes, and he's going to be able to knock Reshiram out. Let's see if he does that. First he's going to Chorus for 8, And just checking my resources. We've already used quite a bit. He puts down a Registeel, probably the one he super routed back in. That'll be able to do a lot of damage if he gets it going, because he can avoid attacking my Reshiram directly and just attack my bench and knock everything out that way. So I really need to get Registeel out of the way, just like I did before. That's really the Pokemon I'm most afraid of in this matchup. So I don't know what my opponent's doing. Can easily take the knockout, but yep, he decides to Super Rod again. So he's going to put a Cobalion, the non-EX, and 2 Metal Energies back into his deck, and he's going to Steel Bullet for the knockout. And here I'm debating. I now have more Water Energies. There's still not going to be enough to knock anything out that's an EX on his side of the field, but I'm going to Core Rest to see if I can get more and try to knock it out. Try to knock out anything on his field. So I'm going to debating whether or not to Deluge. I'm going to Battle City, get another card, but it's not a Water Energy. So I'm going to Deluge again, so I'll be able to Hydro Pump and do 130. So not enough for the knockout, but if he doesn't retreat that, I will be able to take the knockout, and he cannot knock me out in one hit. He can just do 100. But I guess he sees this coming, and he's going to Escape Rope. I decide to go into my Keldeo that's already taken some damage, but not enough for a knockout, so I can, I don't know, hopefully have a shot at winning this game. So he goes into a Cobalion EX, but then he switches into the other one he was just using that already has energy, and he decides to end me down to 3 cards and end himself down to 4. Fortunately, I get an N off of that N, so I can get more energy, hopefully. He's gonna first Heavy Ball, probably for Plasma Clang, and he's gonna Battle City, and he gets to draw a card off of that. He Steel Bullets Keldeo for 100, and that's good. Now I get Reshiram and a Fire Energy. And put that down with the Fire Energy, try for Battle City. I do not get it, and I end. Fortunately, I get a Catcher and an Ultra Ball, which should prove to be useful. But right now, I'm really stuck with Keldeo in the active spot. I don't have a switch, and it doesn't have energy, so I'm not going to be able to do anything, so I just have to let him take the knockout on that Keldeo and take the prize lead, basically. So he attaches another energy to his bench, Cobalion, EX, and he goes for Battle City. I think he gets it again. He has tremendous luck with that card. He goes for the knockout on my Keldeo EX and takes 2 more prizes, leaving him with 2 and me with 3. So I'm going to go for Battle City. I don't get it. It's the story of this game. But I guess I'm really debating whether or not to just go for the knockout, because I have no real out right now without any more fire energies on Reshiram. So I go for the knockout, take 2 prizes off Cobalion EX, and leave my Blastoise up in the active, which is really vulnerable. But I do have a Catcher, and now I have enough energy on Blastoise to knock out any one of his Klinklangs, which now he has 3. So unless he manages to get a Catcher and get something stuck up there, I will have the win. And he needs to end me as well, since I have the switch. So he's going to Skyla. He can go for the Catcher, but it won't be enough to save him. At this point, I think I have the game. So he goes for Steel Bullet, and I think I have the game with that 1 energy, so that should be let me do 140. I'm going to catch a Plasma Clang and do 140 for the knockout. So thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, or subscribe, and stay tuned for more Battle Bid videos at a later date.